everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Jessica, and you're joining me for something new on my channel. And I am currently doing a buddy read of Outlander by Gabaldon, and I'm really enjoying this book. And as I finish each part, I've been recording my thoughts on that part, pretty soon after I've read it. So I thought that what I would do is start a little series or whatever that I guess I'm just gonna call something like Read With Me, or I read along, or I'm not sure. But anyways, so this time, because I've already read the first 3 parts, I've just started on the 4th part today. I had planned on waiting until the end of the book, putting them all together and uploading them as one big piece. What I have ended up deciding is I think what I'm going to do is actually record them and then upload them as I go. So this time you're going to get parts 1 through 3 in bulk. But once I finish part 4, I will record and then just upload that as is. I won't wait until I read more. So that's your little intro. I'm going to stop talking now and let you get to the actual recorded parts that I've already done. Hi everyone. I'm actually doing something a little different than I normally do. This is going to be kind of a little as I read kind of vlog. This one's going to be on Outlander. I'll put it over here. This is going to be on Outlander. Now, as you guys know, I finished part 1, which is the first 5 chapters. I have started on part 2. I've read chapter 6 and a piece of chapter 7. But I'm going to wait until I finish part 2 to really talk about that. But to talk about part 1, one of the things and I'm still a hot mess, I'm sorry. But there are a few things I'd like to say. First off, I love the descriptions of the places. They sound beautiful. I mean, absolutely lovely. I will say some of the stuff that Frank is on and on about, he gets very tedious and a little irritating even. Anyways, so Frank gets a little tedious at times, and I actually kind of find him to be creepy. He's just a little strange, and the whole talk about if she had an affair it would be okay, he would still love her, it made me feel kind of like, I think maybe he had an affair, is the way I feel about it anyways. I guess we'll find out later on, but I'm not really a fan of Frank so far. I like Jamie well enough, but I don't know much about him yet, so I can't really, I mean, he seems like he's a decent guy, but we haven't seen enough of him to really form an opinion. Like I said, I love the descriptions of the places. So far, that has been beautiful, but here's my one big issue. I like Claire as a character. I really do. She thinks fast on her feet. She's very knowledgeable. Her knowledge of botany is transferring well into the 18th century Scotland. It's making her, useful to the Scots she's been captured by, which is a good thing. But here's my problem with her. It's like nothing fazed her. Ending up in the 18th century, psh, no big deal. Nearly being raped by your husband's ancestor, 6 times great-grandfather, we'll get over it pretty quickly. Oh, my husband's, in 1945 and I'm in 1743. Oh, who cares? Everything just kind of rolls off of her, and to some extent it can be attributed as thinking fast on her feet, yes, but somewhat it just comes off as somewhat unrealistic, because there's got to be part of it that's going to make her stop and freak out a little bit, but she's not. So I guess that part of it could be that she's still holding out the hope that all she has to do is get back to those stones and she'll be able to, go right back to 1945. And I guess that could be what it is. I don't know. I'll have to see as I get further into the story, but that's the only big problem that I have had so far. There were a few uninteresting bits that didn't really hold my attention well, but there were enough interesting parts that it held me over through the boring bits. So, and I know that every book in the first bit, there's a bit of world building that's not always going to be incredibly interesting. So, but overall, I will say so far, just counting the first 5 chapters, it's shaping up to be a good book. I've never been big on historical fiction, but this is definitely doing a good job of representing the genre. I'm enjoying it, and I have just barely started on chapter 7, and yeah, so... Okay, so I am back, and it's the next day. I did end up finishing part 2 before I went to bed last night, but it was just too late for me to try to record. So there were a few things that I really liked. I really enjoyed seeing Claire find her place in the castle you know, daily goings on, basically. I enjoyed seeing how botany has really helped further her knowledge for that area. It's made her indispensable as a physician, I guess is what it would be called. And she's slowly learning even more from the village witch, I guess is what they call her. I don't remember her name now. It starts with a G, I think. That was nice too, seeing her making a friend, and it's not just some little twit from the court. It's, you know, someone with a little, you know, a little spark to it. I really like her character. Even if she does seem a bit cool at times, she genuinely seems to care what Claire thinks. So, now the little bomb that she dropped saying that Jamie is the king's son's actual father, or the clan leader, excuse me, the lord, I would really like to know if that's true or not. That was a really interesting one to have, because by all accounts, Jamie seems to be a ladies' man, as far as I can tell. That's what everyone else seems to say. So I don't know. Like I said, we haven't really seen enough of Jamie to make a real opinion on him, or yeah. I know that it was really nice of him to take the lashing or take the beating for that girl when she was in trouble. Though I think she's going to become a problem in later parts of the book, because she's really jealous of the attention that Jamie pays to Claire. So we'll just have to see what happens there. And he was very charismatic about kind of soothing away the fact that he wasn't going to swear an oath to the Mackenzie clan. By all accounts, I like him, ladies' man or not. We'll see what happens later on. I had written a few things down in the topic over on Goodreads. Maybe I can pull them up before, you know, it becomes an awkward silence between us. I really kind of want to go out. After the first part, I decided I wanted to go out and buy myself a vase, because, you know, the set of 3 vases that she bought, that, you know, I would like to kind of go out and buy myself a vase after that. And now I really would like to go and get a book on herbalism and botany. That would be fun, if you ask me. I also was happy to see some frustration on her part, and the desire to escape and get back to those stones to try to get back to her timeline. There for a while it seemed like she was too accepting. I said that in the earlier part I recorded, but you know, you actually see some frustration and a little bit of panic and the desire to escape. Though she did give up really quickly. Then again, with all the drunken Mackenzies there, I don't really blame her. I would have run like heck too. And what was with that kiss from Dougal? I like Jamie, and I'm pretty sure that that's where the romance angle is going to head, is to Jamie, but part of me also, I mean, you know, Dougal seems like he's just, you know, a hard man. Very tough, very, you know, he's a warrior. He's a soldier, basically. So I would not mind seeing what happens when he's not being tough. And as far as her and Jamie, I really like the fact that their relationship is very slow building. You know, it's a friendship. She's attracted to him, of course, but being attracted to someone doesn't necessarily jump right into a relationship. So there's been no insta-love feeling, which I really like. That's definitely a plus for this book so far. I'm 10 chapters in, and she's not in love with Jamie yet. She may be attracted to him, but she's not in love with him. So I'm very pleased with that. I did finally finish Mistborn today, so I'm able to focus a little more on Outlander and a little less on other books, though I did also decide to go ahead and start this, but it shouldn't take me long to read it anyways. The only other thing that I'd like to add about part 2, while I do that kiss when Dougal told Claire that she had to pay the price, yeah, okay, so that stirred my feathers a little, but however, I find him suspicious at the end, where he comes out to tell Claire and Jamie that they're going with him on a trip, and the place that they're going, maybe they can help, the people there can help Claire find her family in France, which of course is basically a I'm calling your bluff kind of thing on the clan leader's part, I think, because he doesn't believe her. But the way Dougal was acting, it makes me very, very suspicious. I feel like something's going to happen during the trip. I don't know if it's going to be something bad, like maybe he's planning to just kill her. He just strikes me as being very suspicious when he came out there to tell them. That's all of my thoughts for part 2. I don't know if I will get to part 3 tonight or if it will be tomorrow. My son is out of school tomorrow. He doesn't go back until Tuesday, so it's just kind of going to depend. But I will be right back here to record with you guys as soon as I know when it is I finish part 3. Hey guys, welcome back. I am here with my parts on, or my thoughts on part 3 of Outlander. I have a lot of things that occurred to me. Sorry, my lamp was shining on the red cover and it was kind of casting some red light. I have a lot of thoughts, but the biggest problem is that most of my thoughts are overpowered by what happened when Jamie decided to discipline Claire for disobeying him. I know that this is set in a different time period. Things were different back then. I do understand that. However, at the same time, she's a modern woman, or a more modern woman. You know, 1945 is not now, but, and she, you know, yeah, she was angry, she was hurt, she, you know, had a lot of things to say to him about it, but at the same time, she still forgave him, and that kind of was odd for me. I mean, even the other guys, the other Klansmen made comments about, you know, you didn't have to beat her half to death, you know, and I'm sure that he didn't literally beat her half to death, but still, it's the principle of it. And by the way, if you hear any background noise, first, I'm in my bedroom with my door shut, but my children and my husband are in the living room, and they're being incredibly loud. And also, behind, like directly, diagonally behind you, my TV is on, and I've got it on freeform, which Pretty Little Liars is on, because I'm waiting for Shadowhunters to come on. But I've got it turned down really low, but just in case you can hear it. So anyways, yes, I have finished part 3. I am all set up. And by the way, that makes it so that I have read a pretty good chunk of it. I think when I put in the page number, and I did make sure I had the right edition, but when I put in the page number, I think it was like 48% or something. But I am ready to start part 4, and I'm excited. I am enjoying it. This is definitely making a real impression on me as far as historical fiction. I don't normally read it. It's not, I've always been, I mean, you see my red bookshelf behind me. I mean, it's going to be a little wobbly, but you see my red bookshelf, and ignore the fact that there are notebooks and a plethora of freaking tablets, because there's an iPad mini and a Samsung Galaxy Tab. Those are my daughters. Down there is my son's Galaxy Tab and the Kindle. But this is my unread bookshelf, and as you can see, and that's my jewelry boxes up there, but as you can see, the majority of the stuff that you're going to see until you get to the bottom shelf is young adult, paranormal fantasy, sci-fi, but I have recently branched out into more adult stuff, and that's all well and good, and I'm enjoying it, but historical fiction is just never something I thought I would enjoy. But now I've actually got the Bronze Horseman that I would like to go for next. Though I'm not sure if I want to continue the Mistborn trilogy first or if I want to start the Bronze Horseman. My cat is scratching on my bedroom door. Now after today, now I have the next 2 books in the Mistborn trilogy. So there were a lot of things that I had a lot of thoughts on, and I actually have gone ahead and watched the first 8 episodes of the TV show. I watched them very, very badly. I binge watched all 8 yesterday. It was 2 in the morning when I decided I wanted to go to bed, and then I decided I had to finish part 3. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but he is, as he scratches, the door is moving, so it's banging, and it's driving me crazy. Of course, now he's going to decide that he has to yowl at me or something. That's just the way he is. But anyways, I had gotten a little, in the show up to episode 8, which is considered volume 1 of season 1, I had gotten a little ahead of where I was. It turns out episode 8 ends near to the end of chapter 21, I think. It's when Jamie shows up to rescue her from Captain Jack Randall. He does get some hero points for that, for the going in there barehanded, basically, with an unloaded gun to try and rescue her in the place where he had been, you know, tied and flogged until the skin of his back was hanging open. I mean, you know, he gets some hero points there. He really, really does. And I am happy to see that later on in the part, he does make a solemn vow you know, in the way that everyone made their vow to Colum. He makes a solemn vow that he will never lay his hand on her again. And that's really all well and good, and maybe he'll stick to that. But I just felt like for him, that is his time period. That's how he's supposed to be. That's how he knows things. That's just how things are for him. But for her, she's a more modern woman, and that she shouldn't have been able to, Zeus, please don't hit my tripod. Shouldn't have just forgiven him so quickly. That, Zeus! Anyways. Zeus! You want to say hello? He wants to say hello. He needs a bath. He's been outside. But yeah, I just wasn't happy with her reaction. At first, her reaction was, you know, pretty spot on. She was pissed, and that was great to see, because she should have been pissed. But then, you know, pretty quickly, I mean, it was obvious that when he was telling her the stories about when he was a child and all that stuff, he was really trying to apologize without apologizing. It was a good thing to hear, but like I said, for him, this is who he is. That's how he was. That's the world that he lives in. But for her, she gave it up way too quickly. Way too quickly. I am sorry, but no. Earlier in the part, and I'm trying to remember what all happened, and how creepy was it that he had rope in his desk? Oh my god, that was just, he was prepared. Yeah, I did like hearing all of the stories about his past. You know, he's opening up more to her. He's still got some secrets that he's hiding, and I understand that. He's got, you know, a pretty ridiculous past. You know, he's wanted. He's a wanted man. But, you know, I'm just still kind of, that whole scene just kind of put me on the fence. It's not that I dislike him. I haven't suddenly decided that, you know, he's not a good guy or a good character, because, like I said, you have to take into account, this is, you know, he's a man of that time. That's just how he is. But my problem was with her, to be honest. So, I don't know, but so far I do still really like the book. I think that this series is going to become a serious staple on my bookshelf. Okay, so I watched the first 8 episodes, and I had already watched episode 1 and I think episode 2 a while ago, and then I had realized, okay, I need to stop because I'm going to have to read the book or it's going to taint the whole thing for me. I have to say, I was very happy with what they did. There were some things that they added in that weren't in the book, but I think that honestly it added a little more intrigue. They made Dougal, you know, they took his creepy level even higher, and I think that's going to be a fun thing to see how they play with later on. Captain Jack Randall, they pretty much brought him to life the same as he was in the book, but seeing him brought to life makes him 10 times creepier, and seeing that he has the same face as Frank. A lot of the dialogue in the show seemed to be taken straight from the book, word for word, which was fantastic to see. A lot of times when people are adapting a book to a show or a film, they don't do that. They, you know, they take liberties with a lot of it. And I did see in the credits that Diana Gabaldon was a consultant on the show. So I think that they did fantastic. I was incredibly happy. I felt like the whole show was really, really, really true to the book. More so than just about anything I've ever seen. So I was incredibly happy with that. I'm already up to almost 12 minutes. So I'm going to stop here because I've still got more book to read. But yeah. So I guess that's it for this part. So I will talk to you guys after I finish the next part. Bye.